Alright mates, how's it going? In today's video, Chapter 11 of Shadows Rising by Madeline Rue. Look everyone, Jaina's back. Let's go! Alleria, Turalyon, you found anything? Jaina Proudmoore appeared through her portal to check on the pair's progress, or lack thereof. She'd been sent by Anduin because he was getting a bit impatient. Days had passed, with no word from them, and no indication as to whether their lead in the Highlands had borne any fruit. But Jaina was a little bit surprised at what she saw when she arrived. A human man, sprawled on the ground, as Alleria void-banged his mind, and Turalyon used his light powers to hold the man in place. Turalyon was the first to turn and face her, his glittering chains holding the man down, vanishing in a poof. This man and his family sheltered one of the Banshee Queen's dark ranges. But Alleria didn't acknowledge Jaina at all. Apparently, she was too busy making the man on the ground scream in agony. And you know this how? Did he resist? The father refused to answer our questions, but he possessed a suspicious dagger. A dagger that would look more fitting in a forsaken scabbard. Don't you agree? Jaina took hold of the evidence and examined it. She couldn't deny it did bear a resemblance to those used by Sylvanas and her chosen guards, but sometimes people do just have weird transmogs. A group of refugees led us here. Their apothecary treated the ranger for wounds and then he left for the coast. Visrin. Do you know him? Jaina considered the name, but also couldn't help but think about how disgusting Alleria's current actions were. Never heard of him. No matter. We'll find him soon enough. The man on the ground went silent and limp, possibly dead, and Alleria inhaled deeply, her eyes lighting up as if she was almost excited, and then turned to address them. Yes, we will find him soon enough. They provided a skiff sturdy enough to sail deep water. The idiot ranger was quite specific. Needed to sail west. Only thing worth sailing to directly west of here is the Zandalari coast. Although she was unhappy with their method, Jaina couldn't argue with the result of their combined light-void coercion techniques. Hopefully it was just a desperate measure taken in response to limited time, not their new favourite thing that they'll be doing all day every day. Does the king know you're employing these tactics? The man on the ground then moved a bit. At least he wasn't dead. The king was quite clear. We are to use whatever means necessary to extract information. Now we know Sylvanas has her sights on Zandalar. Our scope has narrowed, and I can only imagine King Anduin will be pleased. If this is how we must behave to achieve victory, then he is not pleased. Nor am I. I assure you, Jaina, all will make sense in time. Alleria didn't harm him that much, and the light will soothe whatever now ails him. I'll make sure of it. I'd never let the void within her rage out of control, and I would never need him to control me. Right. Jaina then pushed past the two and kneeled beside the trembling smuggler. Carefully, she rolled him onto his back, cradling his head, and quickly observed his face to see if she knew him. He's told me everything. To dawdle here with him is to waste precious time.
I'm sorry. My family. I couldn't feed them. The storm, it's kept the fish away.
And a dagger that fine would fetch a tempting price. When it comes to those we love, we always do what we must. Your honesty is your penance, sir. So I will tell you now, if you have anything more to say. Alleria sighed impatiently, but the smuggler started to nod.
The ranger. We must reach his destination before the White Lady is full. After, no ships will pass.
You what, mate? What do you say? What about what? Jaina frowned. No ships will pass, eh? When is the next full moon? 6 days, I think. And we have but 6 days to reach Zandalar safely. I will return to Stormwind at once and relay all of this to the king. Not missing the subtle emphasis on the all of this part, Alleria shifted to the right and stood exactly where Jaina had planned to pop her portal. The two women then locked eyes and Jaina felt a chill prickle in her palms. A warning from her own instincts. Is this truly our highest priority, Jaina? Tattling? All will make sense in time, Alleria. I go only to apprise King Anduin of your progress. And to tattle, Jaina thought. Anduin could not possibly know the extent of what Alleria and Turalyon were doing in his name, and he sure as hell wouldn't condone it. They were setting a dangerous precedent. So, as soon as Alleria got out of the bloody way, Jaina ported back to Stormwind with great haste. She stormed into the throne room of Stormwind Keep, only to find the king wasn't there. The two sentinels then pointed over to the map room, so she stormed into the map room of Stormwind Keep. Anduin, unsurprisingly, was hunched over a bunch of maps and books and charts like a nerd, whilst Gen Greymane stood by his side. Jaina didn't particularly want to tell both of them what she'd witnessed. Gen did have a bit of a temper. Please tell me you bring good news. We have 6 days to catch a fishing boat headed to eastern Zandalar. When the full moon comes, the waters will become impossible to sail. A dark ranger called Visrin told all of this to a smuggler. At last, we'll summon Matthias Shaw. He'll be the best choice to give chase. His sea legs are quite strong since our campaign in Cold Tirith. I have no objections, but should we not send a larger force? We can't risk alerting the Horde of our presence there. Sandalar is under their protection. Our ships in the area is one thing, but making landfall could be seen as an act of aggression. Jaina is right. The armistice is too fragile. We can't survive another war right now. Precautions must be taken, and Matthias can be but a shadow when he desires. Go, Gen. Go find him. Where's Matthias? Where's Matthias, Gen? Who's a good boy? Gen bowed to Jaina on his way out, but he was pretty bloody excited about where Matthias was. But now it was just Jaina and Anduin, and the Lord Admiral decided to pick her next words very carefully. Anduin, I have concerns. We all do. These are concerning times. Oh, Jaina, what is it? You look truly troubled. Alleria and Turalyon tortured that smuggler in front of me. She used the void to infiltrate his mind whilst he held him prisoner with chains of light. It looked unspeakably painful. I worry that their tactics represent you poorly, my king. Every one of us, every soldier, is in service to your crown. We stand under your banner, and if their actions are sanctioned by your rule, what does that say about us? Anduin didn't speak for a very long time. He shook his head, turned away from Jaina, paced backwards and forwards for a bit, got distracted by a large brazier in the corner, until finally, what does it say? It says we will do whatever we must to bring murderers to justice. It says we will not forget those lost in war. It says we will not forget Teldrassil or Lordaeron, not forget the flames blazing over the veiled sea, or the fires reflected in the eyes of 1,000 mourning children. There was a time not so long ago when you were not above swinging the harsh hammer of retribution. I have not forgotten, Jaina. Have you? Oh, great lion, your heart is becoming steel. Jaina's heart had once done the same, hardened by the bomb that destroyed Theramore. Vividly, and sadly, she remembered telling Varian in no uncertain terms that the Horde must be utterly annihilated. It had taken a long time for her to thaw, and remnants of that icy hatred still lingered. I have not forgotten, but I also remember your father once warned Vol'jin to uphold honour or be ended. I wish more than anything, my king, to see your reign endure, and be remembered fondly, for you to be remembered in the same breath as your father. Difficult decisions have to be made. I trust Turalyon and Alleria to know where the line of decency is, and not to cross it. Would their statues preside in our city if they were without honour? People change. People do change. But I trust Alleria and Turalyon. Stormwind wouldn't even exist without them. They're woven into the very fabric of our kingdom's tales. Seemed like there was no swaying Anduin. That much was clear. So, Jaina turned to go, leaving him with one last murmured plea. Clarity and time are the final editors of that story, Anduin. I would know. And we're leaving it there! Well, that was interesting. Anduin's just full of surprises, isn't he? In the next video, are you ready for a bromance that's going to turn into a romance? As usual, link in the description if you're interested in buying this book. Also, there's links to my Discord server and my Patreon page too. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, all of that bollocks. And all that's left to say is, thanks for watching, and see ya!